What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back with a Tottenham update, and I'm joined today by birthday boy Brian Dale in his lovely shirt today. How are we doing, Brian?
We are doing fine.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much, brother. And I have to say, it's a birthday shirt that you picked out. You saw me speaking to my mum when she was doing some clothes shopping for me for some reason, and we said, let's get this shirt, and I said I'll wear it on my birthday. It's a lot louder than I actually thought it was, but yeah, I'm rocking it today, and yeah, thank you for the birthday wishes, and thank you for lunch.
My pleasure, Brian. Absolutely, the pleasure is all mine. But we have some transfer news to get through, and let's start off with the big news from Fabrizio Romano saying that Tottenham have told Leeds they want to make a bid for Leeds winger Raphinha. This comes after Arsenal had a reported bid launched yesterday for the Leeds winger. So it looks like Tottenham are looking to challenge Arsenal for the Leeds winger. David Ornstein says Leeds have rejected Arsenal's first offer for Raphinha out of hand, and they think it's way too low. Gianluigi Longari saying, as reported yesterday, Tottenham ready to submit an offer for Raphinha of 50 million plus 10 million in add-ons. Big race for the winger. His priority is still Barcelona. Yesterday, his agent was in Barcelona with Laporta. Arsenal are definitely in the game. Chelsea were leading the race before sanctions, but are still looking to sign him. And Paul O'Keefe, who's obviously very reliable, he says Tottenham are prepared to bid for both Raphinha and Charleston, but will only sign one. Spurs assessing their options at the moment. Raphinha definitely looking like it's gathering pace at the moment in terms of Tottenham launching a bid and being interested. We did a poll yesterday and we compared the two. We definitely came up with the conclusion that at the moment Raphinha is probably a better player.
Yep.
But most people wanted Richarlison when we did a poll. But if we were to go big for Raphinha, how would you feel about that?
I'll be happy. Like I said, you've won me over with Richarlison. Let's face it, these are two very good players, Premiership proven, and will offer something different to the squad and enhance it a hell of a lot more. It's good to finally see some serious movement on the big players. We were talking about that yesterday. It's amazing. You and me put a scout report on this, and then it happens the next day.
Yeah.
Maybe we should be doing this more often. But listen, it's an area on the pitch that we want to see improved, and both of these two will definitely improve it. And it was interesting to hear what Paul O'Keefe said, wasn't it? Because there are people saying, why don't we go for both? Why don't we go for both? And I think that's systematically shut down now, that it is just going to be one or the other. And it looks like it may be edging on the Raphinha side. Yeah,
maybe Arsenal's interest has moved forward our calendar on terms of going for Raphinha. It sounds like there are reports that Arsenal's bid was ridiculously low, and it was nowhere near the valuation of what Leeds wanted for him. Is 50 million plus 10 million add-ons, does that represent a fair deal for you? Is that a bit going overboard for someone like Raphinha?
Do you know, it's a hard one for me to say, but obviously it's the seller's market. And if they've come out and said they want around 60 million, I'm actually surprised we've gone in that high with the upfront without the add-ons. I thought it might have been lower. So from that, I take this as we do mean serious business with this one, to go in with such a advanced offer and such a high put down.
Doesn't sound like an offer that Daniel Levy's used to putting in.
Most definitely not.
Especially as a opening offer. Usually it's like, I'll give you 20 million.
20 million and a packet of Haribo.
Exactly. But look, I for one would be delighted with Raphinha. I'm thinking more, if Richarlison covers two positions of striker and left wing, then Raphinha covers two positions of right wing and left wing. And in that sense, it could still make sense getting him in because he can cover on the right. And if need be, you put Stone up front and you put him out on the left. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility he can play both those roles. And it does cover two positions going forward. I would like someone with a bit more physicality to cover maybe Harry Kane's position. But it looks like to me we're going to go for one of those. And it doesn't look like we're actually going to go for a proper number 9. And I think that kind of makes sense in a way. Because as much as I want a number 9 to cover Kane, getting a versatile forward in who can play on the wing and up front, or can play multiple wing positions, and might feel like he might then it's easier to attain because they might feel like they definitely have a chance of either getting in up front or getting in on the wing, and it gives them more opportunities to get games.
Well, I think also you've left out a position there where it doesn't matter which one. If Doherty, or let's say Jed Spence, if it is him, does pick up an injury, you've got the option of moving Decky back there so he could take the right wing, or, as I said, even, and he did do it a couple of times for Leeds and did it rather well, even Raphinha at a push playing at a right wing back. So I think it gives us an option there as well, and it gives us the option that should we need Decky to play in a right wing back position, should he do it, because there were big rumours about that last season as well, it gives us that flexibility that we'll still have a potent forward there to replace him.
Yeah, he definitely adds a lot of quality to the squad, but
set pieces as well, actually.
Yeah, very good at free kicks and corners and stuff like that. He's got star quality about him, Raphinha. Talking about the Richarlison deal, though, moving on to the next topic, and this is from Paul Brown, I think, of the Daily Express. He says, Richarlison's people are trying hard to move him, but Everton are right to set a fair price. Understand that THFC, that Tottenham's interest has been exaggerated, and he isn't Chelsea's first choice forward either. Arsenal have good relations with those close to him, and other clubs are expected to enter the race. Considering Everton signed Richarlison for 35 million plus add-ons 4 years ago, and he has since gone on to become a regular for Brazil and has 2 years left on an improved contract he signed, a fee of over 50 million is not unrealistic when you see how other clubs are valuing similar players. It says here, Richarlison interest exaggerated. What do you feel about this kind of deal? Do you feel it looks like we're very serious on Raphinha. Do you feel like we're more serious on Raphinha than we are on Richarlison? Or would you like to see us maybe go hard on Richarlison as well?
I thought, up until we heard this come out today, I thought it was the other way around, that it may be exaggerated on the Raphinha and we're going for Richarlison, but it looks like it's the other way around. So it does surprise me a bit. But do you know what? With Richarlison, I know he said he's not going to say it outright, but the club know what I want to do. Do you reckon Richarlison would put in a transfer request? If it got to the point where push came to shove and he wanted out?
I think he might, yeah.
Exactly. And then I think if that happened, that might reignite our interest again. But I think it could be one of those where we're waiting to see how far Richarlison pushes it and see if he'll come out and openly say, I want out. Because then obviously the club will want an unhappy player out, and that may benefit us. But the word exaggerated surprises me. But it may be, like we said, the smoke screens. It could have been a smoke screen all along. But after all your hard work of getting me to be on the Richarlison bus, it looks like Raphinha is the more serious one for us.
Yeah, it seems that way at the moment. I do also a massive fan of Richarlison. I would love him through the door at Tottenham. I think he does really well covering the left wing and the striking positions. Although Raphinha is a slightly better player, so it's interesting dichotomy in terms of who we really want. And who's the better signing for Tottenham. I think positionally wise and profile wise, probably Richarlison, but ability wise and quality wise, Raphinha. So it's an interesting battle between the two in terms of who, if we're going to only sign one of those players, which Paul O'Keefe is saying, who do we really push the boat out for? Because I think we're going to have to push the boat out for one of them if we are going to sign them. One, to beat the competition, to convince the selling club to get him in. It's going to take a lot of money. I can't see either of them leaving for less than 50 million at this point.
Yeah, you're completely right here. This is going to be a big fee, and who knows, even with add-ons, it may even eclipse Tanguy. Where it really could do. What was that, 62.5 or something?
65, I think, wasn't it?
So something along those lines. So who knows where it could mount. But another thing Richarlison definitely does bring is blistering pace. Is another bit of pace up in up front. But yeah, this is going to be a big fee for us, a big fee. And I'm happy to see it. Yesterday we were talking about how I was getting worried. This is the kind of things when it comes out. This puts me right back in the other camp.
Yeah, definitely. Another new name that's come of late. This is from the Daily Express, and they say Tottenham have now been alerted to the availability of Atletico Madrid striker João Felix. Simeone is willing to cash in, and Spurs could explore a possibility of using Giovanni Lo Celso as a make-weight for the striker. Obviously, he signed for very big money a few years ago at Atletico Madrid. He's not been terrible, but hasn't quite hit the heights maybe of £100 million striker you would think to hit. I don't think he's ever hit 10 league goals, although he is still only 22 and he has a big future ahead of him. He's got a lot of games behind him now in the top league and has impressed, especially I remember watching him in the Champions League against Liverpool and some other teams, and he was brilliant, but hasn't quite been a consistent performer for Atletico Madrid. But is this one, if we were to able to strike a deal, would that excite you for João Felix?
So I remember sitting here with you in this exact seat on New Year's Eve when we were going through the same updates, and somehow Anton Griezmann's name was mentioned, and I was like, behave. There's like absolutely no chance. And until you said Giovanni Lo Celso, I was about to say exactly the same thing. This is the thing with Gio Lo Celso, we have got to make weight here, haven't we? So we have got
that apparently Simeone's interested in.
Exactly. So we've got this make weight here. Then as we've been speaking about this week and last week, this player plus cash deal is right up Paratici's. What he's normally up to? It's right up his alley. So things make sense for him. Would I be excited? Yeah, I think I would. A young player would be probably hungry to get his career back on track if it's not doing as well as thought in Spain. I personally can't see it happening just because of the shit. I mean, God knows what wages he's on. I just can't see it. But if we could get through the door with this would be huge.
Well, they signed him for 114 million back in 2019.
Are we talking euros?
That's pounds.
Oh, Jesus.
Back in 2019. So that's, 3 years ago now.
Yep.
He has a contract running till 2026. In terms of his output for Atletico Madrid, ever since he signed all the way back in 2019, he's made 110 appearances and scored 30 goals. Now, as a young striker, that's not terrible.
No.
It's not like that's a horrific record. Even as a Premier League striker, I mean, that doesn't scream he's killing the league or he's unbelievable. But it doesn't also say if you're coming in, so if he's 22 now, so he signed at 19 years of age, remember.
Yep.
So that record for after signing at 19 years of age isn't terrible, right? 1 in 3 as a 19-year-old
Yep.
playing in a top league. That's not bad. So I, for one, would definitely be very excited. I think if you put him in a team where he's going to get more better positioning for himself, maybe going to get more chances for himself, maybe he can be a much better player. But on the flip side, he's never scored more than 10 league goals in a season. Is he really the one we should be pushing the boat out on?
So first of all, when it comes to 1 in 3, that's not bad. I mean, I'm going to mention a name from the past, a young Portuguese striker that we signed that we would have loved to have been 1 in 3, which was Helder Postiga.
Yeah.
We all know how that one worked out. This guy has obviously scored goals in Portugal. Yeah, they dried up a bit in Spain, but he's hungry. I don't know. It'd have to be stupid money. I just can't see the value with Lo Celso. What would you say the deal would be like if you were to have a guess? What would you reckon? With Lo Celso as a make weight, what are we talking cash, you reckon?
If, say, Lo Celso is a make weight and say we value him at 20 million, I'm thinking maybe if they really want to sell him, then they're willing to take a hit. I'm thinking maybe 50 plus Lo Celso. I can't see any lower than that. Maybe 40 plus Lo Celso. But it depends, because that's literally taking a 50% hit after 3 years. And are they just better off sticking with him and seeing as he's still got 4 years left on his contract? Wow, what was he signed a 7-year deal or something? Seeing as he's still got 4 years left on his contract, are they better off just waiting again to see if he explodes over next season than taking a 50% hit? I would argue that they are. But if Simeone is convinced he's never going to work, then they're going to have to take that kind of hit on him. So
50% is kind of what we would take on Lo Celso anyway with ourselves, when he was around 40 something. So if it was 20 million, so there's that there. And do you know what? With Simeone, if he does say, right, that's it, it's never going to work, this is what we've needed for ages, but we've obviously kept players and kept players and kept players. So if he feels that this needs to be done, I would agree with you. If it was 50 million in Lo Celso, that I'd take, but I've got a feeling it will be more. But that is a kind of deal then, if that was available and that was the offer, I'd like to see us pursue it.
All right, moving on to the next topic, we have an update from the Liverpool Echo, and it's about Harry Winks. And he says there is hope from all three parties, Tottenham, Everton and Harry Winks' side, that a deal can be done, which would see him join the Toffees. Early talks between the two clubs have already taken place. Obviously, there are reports of Tottenham on upwards of £20 million for Harry Winks. Everton have already obviously signed Dele Alli from us in January, so there's clearly connections already there with both camps over how a deal can be struck. I think Harry Winks could definitely win a place in their 11 in the side for Everton, and hopefully this is one that gets done. But Everton might be a bit wary of the fact that their transfer record hasn't been great over the last few years, and do they really want to spend more money on a player who's out of form and another player who's not doing well for a Premier League side, and with the hope they can turn their form around. It seems like they're always signing players with the hope that they can turn their form around. So if I was Everton, I'd be a bit sceptical of that, but I hope that they see the quality in Winks, and maybe they can be convinced that he is the right signing for them.
So first of all, I have to say, after years and years and years of hating Frank Lampard for being a Chelsea, I've got to say I love him now for taking all of our deadwood. It's fantastic that he's coming to us and doing that. I'm a bit confused by this. Yes, I know Everton, but Everton are in a financial mess, and I don't know. Maybe there's players outgoing, but I'm sure they can't spend a lot of money, and that's why they had to broker the Dele Alli deal the way it did. So maybe with Premier League money that they got their security and the TV money, that may have done it. But I've been hearing, and like I said to you earlier, that Newcastle is where he wants to go, and as many people would. I just can't. I hope he goes to Everton. I hope he goes, and wherever he goes, I wish him success. But can you see him going there to be in a relegation threatened financially? What?
Well, I think they don't think they're going to be in a relegation battle next season, do they? They were last season, which was obviously a disaster.
Yep.
But having appointed Frank Lampard and maybe give him a few signings, they would hope definitely to be back in the top 10 at least.
You'd think so. I just can't see, because like you said, the players that they're buying recently, it hasn't really backed that up, has it? You'd think that's where Everton should be, but their transfer policy and the players they've been bringing in have been horrific. Listen, if Harry Winks wants to go to Everton, fine by me. Fine by me. It's time to cut ties with him. He needs a fresh start, and we need to break away from him. So wherever he may be, or wherever he may go, is where he goes. It just surprises me that Everton are the front runners.
Doesn't surprise me, because they're the kind of club who are big enough where he might be attracted to go there, but they're also right now in a way where they aren't too big for Harry Winks right now, and they might see him as a upgrade on what they have already. So for me, it makes sense.
I'll tell you the one place I saw him going. The one place that I actually saw him going, or two, sorry, was either a Bournemouth to be with Scott Parker, or Southampton.
Yeah, Southampton makes sense.
Southampton is the one. When I said like Everton being the front runners doesn't make sense to me, Southampton does to me, and that's where I thought Southampton. Who knows? They may come in now. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, definitely. Next story is from the Daily Mail, and this is regarding Joe Rodon, and they say Steve Cooper has made Tottenham defender Joe Rodon one of his key targets this season. Obviously, Rodon has been always subject to a move, considering he's never really broken into the Tottenham side. He's had a great time for Wales over there, qualifying for the World Cup in 2022 over the last international break. So he's clearly got something about him in terms of being a very good centre-back. And obviously he did really well at Swansea. But at Spurs, for some reason, I don't think he's been terrible when he's played. He's just not fancied by any of the coaching staff. And whether it's because he just isn't good enough on the ball, or doesn't have that composure, or they don't feel like he's good enough for whatever reason, he never seems to get a run of games. And I think a move would be good for him, even if it is a loan move, to get some regular game time. Well, look, he's 24, so maybe it is time to think of a permanent. But I do think it would be a good move for him. And if we can recoup anywhere near the money we got for him, I think it's best for everyone that we just part ways, because I don't think it's helping his development. And I don't think for us it's good to have a player that we're not interested in playing around.
No, I completely agree. For me, I like Rodon, and like you said, when he has come on, he has not done too badly. In the last 4 games of Jose, he was our best defender.
Yeah.
He was our best defender. Then he just has gone missing ever since. I'd like to see, I'd rather it went on a loan, because maybe a loan will give him some constant first-team football, and then he can come back a year later and see where we are. But if we do have to cut the cloth again to raise funds, then so be it. It's just a shame that with 4 managers now, with Jose, with Mason, with Nuno, and now Conte, not one of them have given him a serious stint to say, here you go, let's see what you can do. And a World Cup year for him as well, so he's going to want to be playing regularly. And the thing is as well, he plays well for Wales. He does very well with Wales, but next to Ben Davies. So obviously there's something going on why he's not picked. So I'd rather it was a loan, but if it's sold, then so be it.
Yeah, I mean, if it is a loan, he's 24, he comes back at 25 years of age, and it's like, are we really going to implement it back into the team? Maybe we would, but I think...
When's his contract up?
Not sure, probably I would guess another 2 years, Rodon. I can check quickly.
Let's have a quick check.
But I can't imagine. On sec, his market value is under 10 million. Yeah, 2025, so 3 years.
Okay.
So we must have signed a 5-year deal
Yep.
when we signed him. He just hasn't been fancied, has he, at all, by anyone. Nuno came in, didn't fancy him. Mourinho never fancied him fully, apart from a few appearances and Conte. I don't think he's played one Premier League game under Conte.
No.
So I think it's best.
No, I think he got a few minutes against Norwich or one of the last.
He came on in the North London derby, didn't he, right at the end?
Something like that. He came on one
near
game for a few
but
minutes.
he never really trusted him to start
No.
any game. So that's just how it is with Joe Rodon. As much as I think he's could be a talented defender, I think there must be something that a lot of the coaches see that we clearly don't, and that's I think at this point it's best that he leaves just for himself. Last story, and this is about Alfie Devine, and this is from Charlie Extra. He says that Antonio Conte is a big fan of Alfie Devine, which is why he was so involved with the first team towards the end of last season, both in training and being on the bench for matches. Apparently that's why as well they've trying to accelerate his development to get him out on loan and get real experience. Obviously we saw him score for the England under-19s a few days ago with a brilliant goal at the edge of the box. He seems one who every time he's talked about or seen on the pitch, he seems to really impress and dominate games even at a very young age, and seems like Conte's a big fan of him, so maybe he's one in the future we are very well going to see in the Tottenham first team, and he's definitely been groomed towards that, isn't he?
Oh, with that, I'm so happy we're talking about this guy. We spoke about it yesterday. I am his biggest fan. I love this kid. He is going to be, I keep saying, a world superstar, and I watch him regularly. He scored that fantastic goal against Arsenal. Whenever you hear, like you said, even reporters like Ali Gold said it as well. Ali Gold's like, he's playing for the under-23s, and he's far exceeding all of them. He is I don't want to say that word generational talent. I'm not going to, but that's what we're looking at with him. He is absolutely immense, and it looks like they're saying, as Ali Gold was saying, that they're literally thinking of sending him out on a loan to either a League One or League Two club, because Championship might be a bit too fast-paced for straight away, but just to go get his experience and go get regular team football. And I think this will be the best thing for him. I cannot wait till the day he's in the first team, and when I do start buying kits, it will be his name and number that I have on the back. I am so impressed and in awe of this kid. He really is going to be England's future. Rosie, Tottenham, he's going to be a mainstay. He's that good. He is that good.
Still only, 17 at the moment?
I think he's just turned 18.
Just turned 18.
I think, or just about to.
So really, really impressive that he's especially dominating in older age groups as well. And hopefully we can't wait to see him in the first team sooner rather than later. He's obviously already scored his first goal for Tottenham when he played Marine. Brilliant goal as well. So hopefully that carries on. But that is it for your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below what you thought of all the topics we discussed today. Thank you again to Brian Dager for coming on the show. And big happy birthday to you as well, mate.
Thank you. And as a birthday present, go subscribe to Tottenham on Tour.
Oh, go on, please do. Show Brian some love. But thank you everyone for joining us today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.